I rebuilt this 8-figure wallet brand's broken retention system and took their email and SMS revenue from $88,000 a month to over $700,000 per month. And it wasn't through some fancy new software or paid ads. It came from fixing the 5 broken things inside their retention flows that you might also be missing. So I'm going to break down each part, and by the end of this video, you can copy it and finally stop that leaking revenue yourself. If you run a 7 or 8-figure e-commerce brand, this could easily be the biggest profit lever that you could be ignoring. I mean, we've done it for countless brands where they thought they had everything going on and they thought 10% of email revenue was the greatest thing ever, and we'll slowly peel back the layers and show them that, hey, there's a lot more to be done, and more importantly, there's a lot more revenue that they're actually missing out on. For example, countless brands where we took them from these to these. So that being said, let's get into it. First things first, delivery optimization. It's something no one talks about and a lot of people don't even know. Do you even know if your emails are landing inside the inbox, the spam, promotions? Do you even send them out to yourself prior to it? A lot of brands don't do it, and even a lot of agencies that manage these brands don't care to do it. But it's one of those things that you must be doing every single time, because your emails landing in the inbox, or more importantly, outside of the spam box, is the most important and crucial thing you could do for your brand. Maybe you have the most beautiful emails designed ever, but they're landing inside the spam box. So it does not matter how attractive an email is. If it lands inside spam, it's good as garbage. So the first thing we did to boost this brand's revenue is delivery optimization. Because if your emails aren't getting seen, it doesn't matter how good they are. And most e-commerce brands don't even think about this. They just send out emails without taking it into consideration where their emails are going. I've seen so many brands, billion-dollar brands like Nike, Sephora, and I check my spam box and the first thing that I see in there is those emails from these major brands, because they might be not spam testing. They might not be sending these emails to themselves before they send it out. When you're at a scale that large, sometimes you neglect the basics, and that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you today, the basics and the fundamentals that you need to be doing for your delivery optimizations. So in this case of the wallet brand, their sender reputation was damaged to hell. Like, they were not landing in the inbox whatsoever, and more importantly, they're landing in the spam box and they didn't know how to get out of it. This is the hidden leak 90% of brands overlook, and they miss out on possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars just by ignoring this. First things first, you need to make sure you have your sender reputation set up correctly. Here's a quick checklist of things that you need: your DMARC, your SPF, and nowadays Klaviyo will even tell you what you're missing. So make sure you have a dedicated branded sender domain. Secondly, you don't want to go all crazy and blast out emails to every single person on the list. You want to segment it out so you have an active list and an inactive list. What we do occasionally is we'll reach out to the inactive people just with the sole purpose of getting them onto our active list. This is key because they want to make sure that you're getting as many people that you send to, meaning if I send to 100,000 people and 90,000 of them end up opening, that's a really good sender reputation, and that's going to naturally promote you in people's inboxes. Versus if you send to 100,000 people and only 2,000 people open it, you're cooked. But now, even before an email should land in someone's inbox, they need to be hitting the right person for them to actually convert. And that leads us into customer segmenting, number 2. So the second thing I did was segment their customers, because the largest e-commerce brands don't just go ahead and blast their emails without knowing who they're sending to. They want to make sure that they're sending out an email of purpose to people of purpose. Without these two clear indicators, if you're just blasting out an email, how are you going to know if it converts or not? I mean, think about it. Why would you send someone an email of a product when they just went ahead and purchased it 5 hours ago? It makes no sense for you to do that, right? And more importantly, no one's gonna go ahead and purchase from you if you're just sending them random basic generic emails and it's not resonating to them. Remember, you're dealing with real human beings here. You don't want to just be sending random stuff, and more importantly, you don't want to be just blasting out discounts, because believe me, that's another way that you're probably ruining your brand's reputation. So we started off by segmenting out the last 90 days and even 180 days, because we noticed that they had terrible sender reputation up until only 30 days ago. So everyone before that actually had really good high intent purchasing. We wanted to go ahead and reverse engineer and see exactly what was causing that problem, and we found out was there was a select amount of people that we were sending to that weren't engaged whatsoever, and that's what ended up bringing this brand's deliverability down. So immediately what we did was segment those people out, cleaned up the list, and got rid of them entirely because those people are not of purchasing interest. And finally, what we did is we created an exclusion where anyone that has ever bounced an email, meaning we sent it to them and it didn't get delivered, we got rid of them on the list, and we never wanted them on that list. And we have this segment made, and we're always constantly excluding them just in case more and more people get added to this bounce segment. So now that their sender reputation is cleared up, that's not what's gonna make them their money. It just only got them back into good standing from where they were before. They were still cooked, The third step is setting up high performance flows. These flows aren't just any emails, they're your 24/7 sales team. Imagine if you had someone on the phone 24/7 calling up your customers and telling them, hey, we forgot to buy your product. Hey, we saw you notice this product. Hey, we saw you visited our site. This is the whole purpose of these flows. You'd be surprised how many brands that we've seen don't have all of these flows in place. When I mean all of them, I mean all of them. You need to have a minimum of 5 to 7 standard flows for it to even be considered that you're doing decent with your emails. What they had, unfortunately, was a generic welcome series with only about 2 emails on it, a cart abandonment flow with only 1 email in it, a limited post-purchase experience where they were only pushing about 3 products when they had over 10 plus, and virtually no win-back strategy. So to get the absolute most out of your flows, set these flows up, and more importantly, have anywhere from 3 to 7 flows in length. I know that's a very broad, generic timeline, but the reason being is this truly depends on your brand. If you are a single product store, it doesn't make sense for you to have 10 plus emails talking about the same product, especially when it's self-explanatory. Now, if you're a product that sells a lot of different products, then you might need that. And each one of these flows that we set up for them had custom copy, branded design, and time-tested logic. Once again, you are dealing with your brand and it needs to become a legitimate brand, and that's not gonna be possible by using copy-paste templates that you saw off of a YouTube video 5 years ago. Spend some time and you need to make sure that your brand has a custom look to it, or else customers are gonna see right through it. Before we move on to the 4th step, if you want my team to build this exact same retention system for your 7-figure plus e-commerce run, click below. I have a call link set up so we can speak. If it doesn't make sense, we won't continue. If it does, then we'll obviously take it from there. We'll have it live in under 7 days and guarantee you'll see a revenue lift in under 30 days. But now that the flows were doing their job consistently in the background, without this next step, you'll be missing out on the highest leverage moments to drive purchases, just like this brand was. For the 4th step, we had a revenue-driven campaign strategy. And the strategy I used with this brand created real urgency, in turn converting more people. But before I stepped in, they had zero campaign strategy, leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on the table, just like many other brands do. Mind you, they had over 80,000 customers and they were sending out a campaign maybe once per week. They had a campaign calendar limited to special sales and holidays. They had virtually no product drop announcements, even though they were adding new products to their site every single month. And any sort of specific educational content was completely thrown out the window. They wanted only sales, and it doesn't work that way. You can't always just hammer sales to your customers because they want to be able to read some sort of information that resonates with them. A prime example of this is when you sign up to certain lists and you get emails about various educational series. For example, we work with another clothing brand and they're talking about how to style and layer, and more importantly, how to put certain pieces together. We work with jewelry brands that do that same sort of thing. So you don't want to be sending surface level sales all the time. You want to be able to dive deep into your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and your customer's avatar, and make sure that you're sending information to them that almost resonates their For You page or their Instagram page or their Facebook page. So the way I built effective campaigns that actually drove conversions was by expanding their timeline. At that moment, they were only sending around 4 to 6 campaigns per month. But what we did was then in turn took their current strategy and expanded it. And we said, hey, you know what? We want to have at least 12 emails sent out this entire month. They had the list for it. They had the size for it. Now we just needed to fill in what those 12 were. So we dedicated 5 of those towards some sort of sale or strategy or pushing the products towards that. The other 5 was curated towards various drop or announcements that they had. And the other 2 we had were base educational information. Nothing to do with sales, nothing to do with their products, just surrounding that customer's profile. So in this case, since it was a wallet brand, we were talking about how to integrate it into your tech stack, into your laptop stack, into your desktop stack, into various places for you to use it on your everyday basis. And customers absolutely loved it. We then implemented this exact same strategy over to their SMS, and it caught on like wildfire. Even with high performing campaigns, this too can end if your email list isn't actively growing every single month, because eventually you'll hit that fatigue and customers won't want to buy anymore. You could effectively tap out your own list by not adding more people to it every single day. So now the 5th and final step, which is probably the most important, grow your email list. Growing your email list is a fundamental fact that every brand or business needs, no matter the industry. You need to be growing it every single day, every single hour, every single second, as much as possible. Because there might come a point where if you stop, if you plateau, if you don't have new customers coming in, those old customers will eventually either A, churn out, or B, just simply not be interested in your product anymore. We have thousands of people unsubscribing every day on some of the largest brands we work with, but it doesn't matter because we're adding on 10,000 new people every single day. So that's the exact 5-step retention system we use to take this brand from $88,000 per month to over $700,000 in email revenue. And if you're running a 7, 8, or 9-figure brand and you're not doing this yet, let me build this entire system for you. We'll have it live in less than 10 days and we guarantee you a revenue increase within 31 days. Just click the first link below and we'll talk. Thank you for watching.